Hey, Alexa's Love Beauties and Flawless Men. That's right, Flawless Men. When it is your time to clean the house for your wife, your girlfriend, your family, you will have this tip as well. As you can see, we are in the oven today. Out of all of the cleaning I love to do, this is the last thing I'll do. I'll mow the grass. I'll even probably fix a roof before I clean the oven. Why? Because it has been so hard to clean. And the oven seems like it gets dirty really quick. I have tried all of the different type of oven cleaner sprays. This stove that I have, it doesn't self-clean. I had a stove that self-cleaned before and still didn't know how to use that. So I absolutely dread this. But today I want to show you this one product that's going to turn this into a beautiful brand new clean oven and stove. So as you can see, the first step you want to do is remove. And you can be sure to check out our most recent video on how to do that safely, how to clean these portions. But you want to remove the eyes and the burners, and you will have, well, mine's have broken right here, but you'll have two to hold this up. So you'll have something that looks like this. And that's going to hold open the stove. I will show you how to safely clean this area. Again, we don't want to too much get the wires, but we still want to clean around here. This side of my stove is always really clean because for some reason I don't use the whole stove to cook, but this side gets just a little bad. So I'm going to show you the one product that we have that's going to clean this thing on up, honey. Ta-da! That's right, soap pads. These are designed to cut through grease, and they automatically have their own soap attached. And I'm going to show you how these work. Off camera, I did a sample. I mean, I used to use these, but not really. But it's so good to get back to using these because it's the most easiest way that I'm going to keep this oven clean. Let me show you how to activate the sponge. As you can see, this is my one earlier. And they get like really soapy. So this is the new one, and you'll just take it out the box and you'll just wet it, and it's going to suds up. The more and more you clean with it, it will get sudsy. I'll say to keep this wet because it'll begin to dry out. You might want to get a bowl of water and keep it near the stove, so let's do that. Okay, so I have this bowl. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, this is my favorite bowl. I can't believe I'm using it to clean with, but so I'll show you. We'll just finish up with the top right here, and like I said, you can see this area is already clean, and you don't even necessarily have to use a lot of elbow grease. It depends on how bad it may be. Me personally, I use a little bit of elbow grease, but now with cleaning the stove, it just depends on how bad it gets, because the stove gets like that often. But after I get this all cleaned up, especially me doing this by hand, this is my first time cleaning out a stove like this by hand, then I will most definitely make sure that, you know, just periodically cooking, that I'm going back in there and cleaning up with these. I got this box from Family Dollar for $1.25, and as you can see, the little marks are coming off. I'm barely using any pressure. I'm using just a little bit, but let me line up. Let me see. I mean, without the pressure, you may have to, you know, rub the spot a few times, but, you know, with the pressure, you may be able to just move it really quick. And let's get a side view. So these portions are clean because, like, usually when I cook, I'll come in here and I clean under here anyway. So I think that's pretty clean. Woo! All right. So let's go ahead and keep that in the video as well. So clearly I should have had my gloves on because, like, one of the little spiky things just poked my finger. So let's go off camera and go ahead and put some gloves on. I don't know if y'all will be able to see that, but my camera not focusing. It is right there. One of the little spiky things got in my finger, so it's right there. But we'll just go ahead and pull it out with some tweezers. Make sure you use some gloves. My apologies. Use gloves. Here it is. I wanted to show you. I mean, it does make sense to use gloves because these are like pieces of metal. So let's back up. Let's put on some gloves so we do not have those accidents. All right, boom. The gloves are going to be better for these because they have like the little protective, you know, grips. And yeah, but just mind you, you know, these are made out of like little pieces of metal or whatever that may be. So let's wear some gloves. But when it starts to dry out like that, you can go ahead and just dip some water and just continue. So I'm honestly satisfied with the top of the stove. I'm going to go ahead and move down to this portion. I'm not going to lie to you all. We're not going to do this whole thing on camera, but I'll do some with you. And then I'm going to finish this off camera because this might take me like an hour. To get it to what I want it to look like, it might take like 2 hours. But let's go ahead and do a little review. And it's so crazy because I wonder how all of this stuff get in here, because you will barely, you know what I'm saying, like be baking stuff, but it's nothing but grease. And up top, the stove is off. Make sure the stove is off. And that is just nothing but grease. So you won't be able to take that out. But you can lift it a little bit. As you can see, it has the screws back there. So just lift it just a little bit to get underneath. But let me show you how beautifully this works. So I have this pretty moist here. I'm not going to squeeze it out. And then we could just start with this little area right here. I'm not going to put any elbow grease and just do it. And let's see how that works. Lightly touching it. It's not really going anywhere. So let's throw a little elbow grease. It's moving, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, like finishing this off camera because it's going to take a while. But as you can see here, let's go ahead and move the soap and get another area real quick. Here, let me squeeze some of it out. Yeah, you just might have to use a little bit of elbow grease. Depends, especially if it's a lot of grease. Now let's see what that did. So I have a little piece of paper towel. Let's just try to move the water out the way. As you can see, it's going to pick up really good. You're just going to have to go over it a few times. Also, I have a handy dandy butter knife that I use to clean with. Don't cook with it at all. And I use that butter knife for like my hard to reach areas, like when I need to get in between places in the kitchen. So I'm pretty sure I'll probably be using that as well because I want this thing to be clean. And here is my handy dandy butter knife that I use, and I would use like this end of it for this job. And if necessary, when I'm all done, then I'll just go in with this and just get off any excess that I might need to, because you know, doing this manually by hand with the scrubber, honey, my arms may get a little tired. I might have to take a little break, but if I feel like it's necessary, I just go in and hit the butter knife with it too. So yeah, it just depends, but I'm going to be using that and this scrubber. So we will come back off camera. Well, actually, we're going to finish this off camera, but we will come back and I will show you what the finishing product looks like. So let's go ahead and get another look around. Yeah, this is going to take a while. This will take a while. This is going to take a while. And then we have the oven top right here. So as you can see, they work really good. I have the butter knife for backup just in case. We will come back and show you all the finishing product in just a minute. Mwah. Okay, so it took me 2 hours to completely clean the stove. The reason why those scratches are there, the blue pads that I showed you, they do have some that's like all metal, and I used those up there like a long time ago and it scratched it up. So if you do have grease stains like up here on the top, you just want to use those blue ones. Don't use the all metal ones. And this is the finishing result. Oh, how you get right here? What's this? Hold on. Okay, let's start that over. So that is how you manually clean a stove. Also, when I got done with everything, I did go in here and I washed it with some regular dish soap, and not too much, but you know, lavendered it up that way to get the additional chemicals out of there. And I can turn it on really quick for you to show you how beautiful it's going to be lit up. And I also used, so after I had wiped it out with the soap and water, I dried it out with paper towel. Also, the eye part is really sensitive. So when you're moving that around, just be gentle with that, because it's like, it feel kind of loose, but it got 2 screws up there, but it still feel loose. So be gentle with the eye. With the eye, I turn it on to kind of let it burn out a little bit. But with the eye, I didn't really, you know, clean the eye part. Just like towards the end, I did just like wipe the top off. But that is pretty much it. So we're just waiting on this to heat up. I know it's going to be really pretty. As far as like the racks, I'm going to clean those off camera tomorrow. Again, it was really fun, I guess. Look, I mean, after so long, it's like, okay, I just know the oven takes a lot of time, and that's okay. And so here is the beautiful light. Super excited. So again, I would just advise to, I mean, after you clean it, just to keep it clean. I try to, but again, I don't even use the oven so much. But I mean, the grease still grease, and you know, I just want to keep this maintenance up. So I'll begin to do that myself. Like after I use the oven, I'll go in with the little pad and, you know, soap and water and make sure it's good. So as you can see, this is so beautiful. Absolutely love it. Look at the lighting. So Alexis Love Beauties and Flawless Man, the way that you will clean a stove manually to get all of the spots, you would use the soap pad, which I think works so much more better than the spray. Alexis loves you. Mwah.